Something is wrong with my connection. Okay. Um, Suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing identified by officials as Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old conservative Trump supporter. Why is that important? Because this is the age demographic that Charlie Kirk's business model is based on. And this is not to in any way say what Charlie Kirk did brought this on himself, or that necessarily that he deserved anything. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. But that is something I think a lot of people are trying to avoid talking about. And I think that that is a point to that is significant. One of the reasons why I was not a fan, one of the many reasons I was not a fan of Charlie Kirk, is because I felt he was the smallest fat person or the tallest short person. He would go into his domain was amongst people who chronologically had no life experience, had very little resources to debate him with. And I thought that he took advantage of those people and built popularity upon being the most informed, uninformed person. And that's not to poke fun at him. There was something that he said, I have no education. I don't have degrees. I don't have that. So he would go to university campuses and talk to the people who also don't have any education, which as an educator, I noticed that. I'm like, okay, if you're on campus, why are you talking to the people that don't know? So that's one thing. But the bigger question, again, this is an academic channel, this is a history channel, and this is going to be part of the Trump era. And I believe Trump is going to be well documented in history. His impact is undeniable. And I think that this Charlie Kirk incident is not going to be, because you got generally white conservatives comparing Charlie Kirk to John Wayne and to Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and to these people who really impacted history. And I think in death, people tend to overcorrect. But I think what is going to really reduce this impact is that there's the villain in this scenario is a person that doesn't perpetuate the hate and division that makes money in this country. This is just like January 6th. You notice how fast that went away? The Confederate Army did not take that flag into the United States Capitol. And it blew away. Everybody got, Donald Trump said, oh, everybody's forgiven and we're going to push on. And we just kind of let it go. Were this a Black person he would not have been recovered alive. And that's part of the Black Lives Matter. That's part of the, we have Black people getting killed reaching for their wallet on the traffic stop. We got Black people getting killed for trying to give a bad $20 bill. We got Black people getting killed, getting pulled over for a stoplight. We getting Black people getting killed for walking through a neighborhood in a hoodie. We getting Black people getting killed running through a neighborhood, either by police or by pedestrians. But a person who murders somebody at an event with hundreds, if not thousands of people, is recovered with no problem. Just happens to not be Latino, Black. And also, think about this. Tupac Shakur was killed on Hollywood Boulevard, not Hollywood Boulevard, I just lied, on the Las Vegas Strip. The Las Vegas Strip, for those of you who have not been to Las Vegas, is like Times Square. Hundreds of people on either side of the street, constantly, thousands on the Strip. This was the night of a Mike Tyson fight, so it's a guaranteed thousands of people were out there. To this day, over 20 years have passed. More than that, probably 25 years. Nobody knows who killed Tupac Shakur. This gentleman gets shot. We know who killed him within 24 hours. Just saying. But here is my challenge to America. If you do not believe we are being manipulated by politics, and right now this isn't Democrats versus Republicans. If you are a Republican, watch the Republicans. And I don't care about the Democrats because of the point that I'm trying to make. This is not I don't support either one. But watch this. Watch the spin. If that guy was a liberal, everything would be saying Democrat, liberal, Democrat, liberal, Democrat, liberal. Watch how he just becomes, and I'm saying it now because they just caught him. I'm saying it. This is what's going to happen. Just see if I'm right. Watch he just becomes either a crazy person or a poor, misguided youth, blah, 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 blah. But he will not be connected to us. There will be talk of mental health, no talk of gun regulation. The young man in Texas who stabbed the white student when the white student at the track meet. Watch how there is no immediate assumption about his character coming from a broken home, being a hoodlum, not being an honor student, not this, not that. Watch how that doesn't happen. And then you will see how the color line plays out. That's number one. Number two, the political line. There is no upside. Money has always been in division in this country since Bacon's Rebellion in 1676 in this country. It does not behoove the Republican Party to admit that we have an extreme faction in our party that we need to clean up. Tell me that that's going to be on Fox News. It won't. Tell me Donald Trump is going to say that. He won't. Or any of the other political minions that are waiting on the Trump crumbs to fall when his presidency is over. the Vance is going to meet the family and all of this, all of this. Watch if any conservative dogma changes one iota. The people who hate diversity, equity, and inclusion are showing major signs of imploding. You got January 6th. You have these failed initiatives of deportation. You have these failed initiatives of attack on American history, on Black museums. One thing after another. Now this. Is anybody in any real way going to say we have to examine the Republican Party? And the Democrats are going to try to throw some shots, but who really has credibility in their party? But that's my challenge to the American people, to the intellectuals, to the scholars, to the people who truly care about the country and really want to understand what's going on. Look at today forward. Bless him and his family. I am troubled that there are Black people on the internet criticizing the Black community for not caring. I don't think that any tragedy is an automatic reason to be disingenuous. It's so funny. Somebody who cared nothing about the Black community is supposed to get any heartfelt response from the Black community when something bad happens to them, when their entire platform was based on policy to maintain the detriment to that community. So I do not like any Black person calling the Black community on the carpet to mourn a person the Black community doesn't necessarily care about or cared about the Black community. This was the same person that did not care about George Floyd. This is the same person who did not care about Sandra Bland. This is the same person that didn't care about Philando Castile. This is the same person that didn't care about the NFL protests. So why is this community supposed to care? And I'm not saying that I really don't have a dog in the fight. I think any violence is unfortunate. I think that we have to stop violent dissent. But when someone gets burned by their own fire, I'm not surprised. And this is beyond being burned by the fire of politics. You're being burned by your group that you assisted in building in the age group that you marketed yourself to. So maybe some bigger conversations need to be. But again, look at the history of the NRA. Are we going to hear, and this is the group, again, the tragedy of this man being shot is over here. I'm talking about America as an American scholar, as a scholar of American politics. That's what I'm talking about. We're not talking about, oh, he deserved it, he should know. That's low-hanging fruit. We're looking at bigger concepts here. This is the group that the only way you'll get my gun is to pry it out of my dead, lifeless hands. We don't see that that's a problem now. Watch if you see any gun regulatory conversation. Now, you won't. I'm telling you, you won't. But that's how disingenuous this separatist climate that our country has always had. Like I said, since the colonial days. Look up Bacon's Rebellion, 1776, and the anti-miscegenation laws that came at the resolution of Bacon's Rebellion in 1681. Anti-miscegenation laws. Look those up. That was when they began, that was when whiteness came about as a social value in America. It did not exist before that. Whiteness actually had a social value that was different from any other racial descriptor. And it was in writing. So this is not a concept. This is something that wrote. When all of the poor people got together and started fighting the rich people, all the races, the natives, the blacks, the Irish, because Irish weren't considered white. Italians weren't considered white. All of them got together and started fighting the rich people. Europe, Great Britain, had to come and settle it, and they asked the governors that were in the colonies, how are you going to stop this from happening? And they said, we're going to divide the bottom and let the whites have control of the bottom. And we're going to drop Native Americans, blacks, women weren't even in the conversation. And that's where this separatist politics, that's where it began. And then if you go to Andrew Jackson's first failed presidential run, and then his subsequent run, I believe he was running against John Quincy Adams. That was when nasty personal politics started in the country. This is not new. This is just what it's come to. But this is not new. This is regular, basic United States history, university, state university education. So now, where is this going to go? There is no boogeyman to blame. There is no race card to play. There is no immigrant card to play. There is no gender card to play. There is no alternative lifestyle card to play. The boogeyman is the conservative white male again. Now, when black folks do stuff to each other, it's called black on black crime. Notice that doesn't happen with any other race in this country, that criminality is not racialized with any other group. But now we have this Republican white male implosion. What are we going to call that? Or will that even come up? Will gun violence again by whites come up? No. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I want you to be aware and to watch what does happen. The fact that he's a Republican is going to be played down. Now, trust me, for the next couple of weeks, they're going to show him with his Trump shirt on. They're going to do that. I'm talking a month from now. Give me 30 days. Gone. If it was a black man that did it, they'd have killed him. They would not have brought him in. If it was a Latino person, they would have arrested him to show everybody it was a Latino person. LGBTQ, any of that, we would know everything about it. They would have his Twitter, his everything they would have. We don't even know why he did it. They would have all kind of lies out if it was somebody else. What other kind of groups he's involved in, this, that, and the other. Parents have to be horrible people because, you know, they go after black folks' parents. Oh, is it a single parent? Is it a single parent home? Is it? You ain't heard none of those questions. So look at the difference in how this is being covered and how the conservative party is going to navigate this, because they've already made Charlie Kirk a hero. They've already put him on this pedestal. How do we address there being a problem in our country and say the problem is us? America doesn't do that, let alone the parties that's trying to get everybody on their side. How we don't have the character to say we are a great country that has been built on horrible things. We're a great money-making country that has moral compass. We don't want to balance that. So we just want to talk about the education thing with Trump. We just want to talk about how great we are and what we built, but not how we built it. I just wanted to, because that makes us feel bad. So is it going to make the Republican Party feel bad that they have to say, yeah, that was somebody in our group that did that? It was a Trump supporter, not just a conservative person. It's a Trump supporter that did it. Perhaps we need to look at the example we're making for our young people. What's the likelihood